people who can get all excited and think they're making a huge statement and then they go in the playoffs and suck. So I'm just doing what I can week in, week out.
I know what everybody expects. I know what I expect out of myself, more importantly.
We just keep digging. This team is unbelievable.
My heart rate's still going high. Series is just so much fun right now.
Hell yeah, celebration! Woo! Heck yeah! All right, all right, all right. Yeah, baby, let's go!
The 2022 season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series is going strong, and the playoffs are coming. Today, it's practice and qualifying starting the day for the NASCAR Xfinity Series from historic Darlington Raceway. Alongside Jeff Burton and Kyle Petty, I'm Dave Burns, joining you on this Saturday morning for a gorgeous Saturday morning, guys. It's such a historic racetrack. Kim Kuhn will join us from pit road in just a few minutes. Weather is lovely. It'll get hotter today, but right now the fans enjoying some nice temperatures in the grandstands and around the track as the teams get ready to practice briefly and then go qualifying. Jeff Burton's already been on track today. Jeff, what are the conditions like for these Xfinity Series teams as they get started?
It's the same old Darlington it's been forever. Slick and yeah, it's crazy. Even in the NBC car, after a few laps, drives a lot different than it does after the first lap. It's typical fall off.
Yep, and Kyle, you always enjoyed getting up this early in the morning to practice, right?
Yes, for sure, for sure. And Jeff, is it still the same? Do you wear your tires out on pit road driving out?
Yeah.
That's kind of it. You felt like that when you left pit road, you had gotten all the good out of your tires. They were never going to be that good again once you get up on the racetrack.
The famous shape of this 1.366 mile oval, the famous feel of that gritty surface that wears those Goodyear tires. It makes it for good racing, Jeff.
It does. One big difference, Kyle, a few years ago they had to put this patch in. They had to repair the racetrack, and that's newer asphalt. And that is there is a fair amount more grip in that newer patch of asphalt right there. It's kind of hard to see now as it started to fade, but it goes from newer asphalt to older asphalt on the exit of turn 2, which I think creates a major challenge because you got a lot of grip until you get to turn 2, and you know what happens in turn 2.
Yes.
It's always tight, easy to hit the wall there.
There's no room in turn 2 is what you're saying.
No.
Drivers are about to hit the track, and they'll test out that surface down there. Let's test out pit lane with Kim Kuhn. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Dave. And you mentioned it's a very brief practice, but despite that, the team's still looking to take advantage. When I talked to some of the crew chiefs, the plan overall, most teams want to do longer runs. They're looking to get a shakedown, find the balance in the car, as well as look at the tire fall off. Now, both teams and drivers did tell me, though, despite it already being a beautiful, warm, sunny South Carolina morning, it is going to be significantly hotter when we go green. So they'll take that into consideration, knowing if they have a loose race car during practice, it's going to be even loose when we go green, maybe even wrecking loose. Another thing to note, a couple of teams said they didn't want to be the very first on this green racetrack, so don't be surprised if you see some of the cars, including the Kaulig race car, take a little bit of time before they make their first laps here in practice.
Kim, thank you. Kaulig, one of the multi-car teams in the race this afternoon. We'll see what they do as a team strategy. You see the two Joe Gibbs Racing, two of the three cars lined up on pit lane there. Brandon Jones getting ready to head Christopher Bell out onto track. And it will be too tough once again this afternoon when they go racing for 147 laps here around Darlington. This practice and qualifying, here's what it will look like. 20 minutes. All cars will be on track. And then single car qualifying. They'll just get one lap. They'll start back there on the backstretch. They'll come take the green, and then they'll take the checkered. There's just one round, and the fastest time wins the pole.
I have to tell you this, that we saw that sign, Darlington, too tough to tame. And you talked about paving that patch over there. When Bill Kaiser ran this place back in the day, and one of the first times I ever came here, I had some T-shirts printed up that just said Darlington, too cheap to pave. Just because I wanted to see this place paved all the way around so there was some grip, because I never found any grip here in all the years I ran.
I'm nervous sitting next to Kyle.
Well, because you never know what's going to happen because there might be a loss of grip.
Yeah, for sure.
In the booth.
In the booth.
You see right here, it's so important. You see Justin Allgaier, he knows if he wants to lay a lap time down, it's got to happen right now. And this is a heck of a way to wake up in the morning, go rip you a lap at Darlington. You only get one set of tires for this practice session. So this, if he does it right, this should be a fastest lap. Like, there should not be anything left if he hit all of his marks right, because the tires fall off that quickly.
And you're hearing from a driver that knows, Jeff, if I have it right, 2 Cup Series wins, 4 Xfinity wins for you here at this place.
Yeah, I don't know why. I always liked this racetrack. I was one of the weird ones that just was comfortable here and enjoyed it. I don't know why.
But in all honesty, it's a rhythm racetrack. But we saw guys like Jeff come here. Saw guys like Terry Labonte come here and win and early on in his career. Lake Speed, there were certain guys that just hit it right and fell in love with this place. And then there were a lot of guys in my boat that never hit it right and hated this place because you respected it, and because you have to respect Darlington. You have to respect at any given time it can reach out and grab you.
So that wiggle off turn 2?
Well, he ran 2 laps.
Yeah.
And the second lap was fastest, as most people. That's not because that's how it should be. It's just you're getting used to the racetrack.
Yeah.
But what he's doing here, he's coming in. Like, he's decided, okay, we need to be a little better. We're going to pit, come in and make a change. And if you're going to have to make a change, you need to do it now.
Yes.
You get 15 laps on the set of tires and you try to make a change, it's hard to understand if it made the car better or not, because the tires fall off so much.
The tires fall off in very simplistic terms. The tires just get numb. They don't give you any feedback to what the car is doing. So you're adjusting in what you think might be happening, but that may not be what's happening. And you don't know until you put a new set of tires on, you get that grip back on whether it's freed you up too much or whether it's tightened you up too much.
You saw in our graphic, this is the first Xfinity Series start for Christopher Bell this season. A bit of a surprise, a late ad, as Denny Hamlin told us this week that the soreness from his wreck at Daytona last weekend is preventing him from racing this car today, as he's done so often for Sport Clips and Joe Gibbs Racing. Wanted to, just didn't feel like physically he could do it when he has to race 500 miles, Jeff, tomorrow, which is a huge race, the Southern 500.
Yeah, and the beginning of the championship as well. So, yeah, for him, just having any distraction is not a good thing. And if you're an Xfinity regular, you're like, yay, he's not in the race. And you're like, oh, no, they're putting Christopher Bell in there. That's not good.
Yeah, that's the problem when it's the Joe Gibbs car. When it's the JGR car, you never know who they're going to put in. It just keeps going up the ladder.
Now they've got some young talent driving this 18 this year. They've got some veterans who have won in this series. And, of course, they've got the all-time current on the pit box winningest crew chief and Jason Ratcliffe directing the program down there. So they should be fine today. That should be Junior Motorsports. They're pretty good here.
Yeah, Noah's been good here as well. Noah here and Homestead. Noah, I was at a test at Homestead where they took Noah and just let him go run the top, just rip the top. And he crashed into the wall probably 20 times. They'd repair the car and off he'd go again. And they taught him how to rip the wall. And ever since that test, he's been really good here in Miami.
I am always fascinated by drivers like Noah who are good here. Drivers like Denny Hamlin who are good here, like Jeff Burton who are good. It's both ends of the spectrum. You get a driver that's a thinking driver like Jeff Burton, that's a thinking driver like Denny Hamlin, that understands what the racetrack. And then you get a driver like Noah Gragson, who's like Earnhardt and those guys, who just run as hard as they can every lap. And both ends of the spectrum can be successful here. But you've got to commit one way or the other. It's all those guys in the middle that don't know when to go hard or when to go easy or what to do. These guys just drive their race, and Noah has gotten better and better and better going into the Cup Series next year, and seems to be in that right place to make that jump.
Noah won this race last year, so that's on his mind. The muscle memory good. You can see him working that high line as the guys described.
What I like about that high line is he enters high. So down here, that's probably not going to work. You're going to run to the bottom and then run up to the wall. He's able to take a lower line. Kevin Harvick, that's what Kevin Harvick does with his Cup car. He runs that middle lane. But down here, if you're going to run the top, run the top. And watch what Noah does. He enters on the wall and tries to keep a constant radius rather than running down to the bottom and up to the wall like you do in turns 1 and 2. And it's just because of the shape of the racetrack is so different why you do one thing versus the other.
Noah circulates around. Meanwhile, that's his 10th lap, but no laps yet for the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Kim, what's going on?
The 54 put down a couple of laps, but definitely not what he wanted. We talked at the top of the broadcast, most of these teams wanting to do longer runs unless the car wasn't to their liking. That is certainly the case with Ty. In just 6 laps, he knew he needed more, so brought it in. They are going to make some changes, cool off those tires. Ty said he was rolling over the right front pretty bad, chattering the front tires, and he could not put much wheel input into it, so he definitely needs more out of that race car if he's going to make any waves here this afternoon.
That's a good update, Kim. What do you think, Jeff?
I think it's really smart to come in and make a change early, and I like that about a young driver. Like he's, a lot of teams, crew chiefs take the approach, hey, you're a young driver. Now he did a development test here. He's raced here, so he's not a rookie here by any means. But a lot of times with younger drivers, teams are like, hey, you just go out and make laps. You learn the racetrack. And he has the confidence, and the team is giving him the freedom to say, hey, the car's got to be yours. And I like that.
So I go back to when I started and go back to so many guys that came along. The rule of thumb was, as a young driver, don't adjust to the car. Try to make the car adjust to you, because you don't want to change your driving style. You don't want to change to overcompensate for something the car can't do. Make the car do most of the work. So when it's your time to do the work, you're capable of taking the car to another limit. And that's what's good. You like to see in a young driver, a driver who instantly knows what he needs or instantly knows it's not right. And that's a big step, is knowing it's not right and coming in and making that change.
John Hunter Nemechek is in the 26th car for Sam Hunt Racing again this weekend. It'll be his 9th start of the season, and he'll have the helmet cam on. Great perspective.
From the helmet cam, it always looks closer to the wall than what I know. It's close, but I mean, as Jeff said, we saw Noah go right in on the wall. He's right there at it. We see the marks on the wall already, and practice has just started. There's a couple of marks down there where it says Darlington in the middle of 3 and 4. But it takes commitment to roll in on that high side and then pick back up the gas, even if it's just a little bit, to pick it back up and try to drive it away from the wall.
And one of the few ovals in this country that I'm aware of where you get off the gas on corner exit. So right around, back to the throttle. Now listen to him, just feathering it, can't commit, finally commit. So he's all the way off the corner. He's on lap 10 on his tires. And then watch and listen in turn 1. He's going to go back to the throttle quickly, climb the hill, try to go full throttle through here, and then lift. And then go back to throttle, then avoid that wreck in front of him.
Yes, that was a wreck. He was sideways.
It's really only one of the, I don't know of many other racetracks. Here in Dover, where, like you go to the throttle, then you get back out of it on corner exit. It doesn't work at most racetracks.
And from a driver's perspective, you have to ease out of it and let the car gain its grip and let the car take its set so you can change direction. Because if you just stay in the throttle, it's kind of like when you hit a piece of ice or water on the road and the car skids or hydroplanes a little bit. There's nothing you can do about it. Standing in the gas just gets you to the wreck quicker. You've got to let off the gas and let the car settle down so it will change direction.
That was Myatt Snyder with a bit of trouble in front of John Hunter Nemechek off of 2 that Jeff noticed. It wasn't a wreck, thankfully, for Myatt. Halfway through this practice session, you see our clock on the upper left there. Just a 20-minute session to get everyone set for qualifying, which will be 1 timed lap per car. And while everyone tries to navigate around here, Chad Fincham with just a tiny bit of trouble here in the 13.
Oh,
wow. That's a big bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, something was wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that was a driver error or loose.
No.
It's just like the car quit turning.
Yeah, it quit turning a lane and a half from the bottom, so as it skated up. We've watched Nemechek. We've ridden with him the last few laps. This is just practice. Look at how hard from that end car. Remember how hard he was driving this car. I mean, he is all over that wheel trying to get this thing to change direction and go where you need. And here he turns down under. This is where the racetrack gets really tight, up off 2 right here, as you see the 17. Is that Larson?
That is Kyle Larson.
Yeah, Larson.
And there's Ross Chastain passing him in the 48. So a number of Cup drivers in the field today. Chastain driving for Big Machine Racing, and of course Kyle Larson driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Nemechek trying to stay ahead of them both.
Chastain has a few less laps than these other guys.
But you saw Chastain's car wiggle as he comes off because he's trying to stay off and give enough room to the outside, and it gets that push loose condition where it just shoves up the racetrack and then snaps loose.
Another smooth for Larson. He's been driving that Cup car, and these cars drive completely different. So hey, what does it drive? How does it drive behind another car? What do I need to do? I love this move. I don't think his car is like he needs it to be right now. I think John Hunter Nemechek's car is pretty good if we're looking at lap times. But at the same token, there's a lot to learn from Larson.
And rhythm, I think this was brought up on a conference call this morning by Marty Snyder. Rhythm is something you can learn here for tomorrow, Jeff. Even though the cars are very different, the rhythm of this racetrack is important.
For sure.
But I think Jeff brings up a great point. He's talking about Kyle Larson learning. And 99% of America is thinking, what does Kyle Larson have to learn? I mean, he can drive anything, anytime, anywhere. You learn the nuance of what this car does, different than what your regular car does. It's just learning those little things and reacquainting. And he probably already knows a lot of it, but it's just reacquainting yourself with what you expect from this car and what you expect it to do.
See the lower left there of our graphic of double-duty drivers this weekend as Larson pulls the 17 on to pit lane. 2021 Cup Series champion and, of course, the 2021 Xfinity Series champion, Daniel Hemrick, will be running both days as well. There's Ty Gibbs back on track. Kim reporting that his first 6 laps were not what he wanted. Brought it in, tuned it up. Here he goes again.
Ty's run well here. Has some speeding penalties. I thought he had a shot to win. Has some speeding penalties in the past that really set him back.
Ty, part of an announcement this week regarding 2311 racing. He's been filling in for Kurt Busch in the number 45 car. They did a number swap this week as that car will remain in the Owners' Championship hunt. And they'll put Bubba Wallace behind the wheel of the 45, the more experienced driver, to take that through the playoffs. Ty will switch to the famous 23. So keep an eye out for Ty this weekend again, but switching numbers for 2311 racing to the 23. David Starr holding his line with Ty Gibbs there. Meanwhile, the regular season championship leader, there he is, A.J. Allmendinger.
AJ's only 19th fastest right now, but his lap times on older tires aren't bad. He just did not lay a lap time down early on new tires, but he's not that far off in race trim. I mean, it's all race trim, but it's such a different style.
Yeah.
Rolling out here first thing in the morning and just busting a lap off. A lot of guys can do that. Cars can do that, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the best cars 10 laps in.
No. But it fascinated me during COVID when NASCAR came back to this racetrack in particular, and they just dropped the green flag and said, okay, barrel off into that first corner with no practice, because as you know, Jeff, and as we've just been sitting here talking, the rhythm of the racetrack, getting used to the racetrack, coming back and respecting the racetrack again. It's really hard to wake up in the morning and roll out of this thing and go lay down a qualifying lap, and that's what you're asking these guys to do in practice, is to figure out where these cars are. But this place has always been Always been. Not the guy who runs the fastest lap. It's the guy who maintains that speed over the distance of the race. This is truly a time over distance type race.
There was a time here that the drivers in NASCAR respected this track so much, Kyle, that they wouldn't let a rookie qualify on the first day of qualifying. A.J. Foyt came here as a rookie. And they said, well, okay, but you're still qualifying on the second day. They would not let him qualify on the first day because they didn't want rookies starting in the front. You see these guys hitting pit road. I don't think there will be, they're on the back stretch, front stretch here. Every time we see green flag pit stops, I don't think that'll happen today by any means. Someone always misses that pit road. It's so dirty on the bottom. But the pit road that they're on the back stretch, that used to be the front stretch.
Yes.
It flipped the racetrack when they wanted to expand the grandstands. The road so close. This was where the race was won for years.
Yes, for years.
But the road so close to the grandstands, he couldn't expand it. So they flipped the racetrack and made now what used to be the back stretch is now the front stretch. A lot of memories in those garages.
Yes.
I wish he could talk.
I'm glad they can.
Kim Kuhn can talk about Justin Allgaier. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Dave. Well, despite Justin being the fastest, he is still battling some grip issues. After the first run, told the team the right rear is disconnected. So in layman's language, that means loose. It just wants to snap free. They brought it in, made a couple of changes, went back out, and he said when all the weight transfers to the right front, he has no lateral grip. I'm not on the splitter, but I'm hitting something, so still needs to do some work on that 7. He's won 2 of the last 3 races here, so I asked him before practice if he thinks he's the favorite, and he said no. He felt like they won the spring race by happenstance. They had good restarts and happened to pick the right line. So a little humility from the guy who's P1 on the board right now.
P1 and won this race in May and, looking strong almost always here at Darlington is Justin Allgaier and Junior Motorsports as a company. Let's look at some Allgaier highlights, shall we? How about this?
Wow.
Careful. Checkered flag. That was last year. Whoa. And then this year. Okay. Let's do it again. Under cloudy skies. Yeah, I can handle that as well. So quick. And, Jeff, what do you think it is about Justin? We talk about experience. We talk about rhythm here. What do you think it is about Justin?
I think with Justin, he's a really good race car driver, number one, and he's got years of experience. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time, Xfinity, Cup, truck. I mean, he's done this for a long time, and that's just an advantage. So you take a guy that has experience, that still can get it done, and you bring him here. He knew on lap 2 if his car was what he needed it to be. He didn't have to wonder. He knew on lap 2.
Tight across the middle, but I can't turn on the wheel either, you know what I mean?
And that kind of stuff that he just said, that's racecraft.
Yeah.
That's knowing, okay, we're going to run a race, 147 laps, and the car is going to change throughout the run, throughout the day. What is it right now that we need to be better at? What is it? There's no guessing. There's no anything other than I know we got to be better here. And it takes a while to develop that. And you know what your car is doing, but you don't know as a young driver if that's really what you need to race well or qualify well, right? It's 2 different things. So a guy like Justin, he just has all that. He doesn't have to come here wondering what it takes to win.
Yeah, and you gain that ability, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost to Jeff's point, to see into the future. At 2 laps, you can extrapolate that out and say, okay, this is what my car is going to feel like 40 laps into the run. This is the adjustment I need to make. I'll never forget, I started driving, I went to Dover, qualified like 15th, 16th. We see the red flags here. Dale Inman said, you're going to bust your butt in the first 5 laps of the race if you don't fix that car. And I'm thinking, I'm perfect. They run like 4 laps. I thought I had 2 flat rear tires. I come down pit road and put about 12 rounds of wedge in it. And that's what, as a young driver, you don't know. You don't know what the racetrack's going to go to.
So practice is over. 20 minutes goes by awfully fast, and now there'll be a little bit of a break as they make very few changes to the race cars before they go qualifying here. They just don't have time, Jeff.
Hey, what's that? That's a Darlington stripe.
Yes,
right? That's not a Darlington wreck.
No, that's
Kyle
not
has
wreck.
Kyle has. This is a Darlington stripe in the middle. Get into
he
turn
just gets
3.
up next to the wall here.
Just a little scrape.
Just a little bit there. Not bad. Not bad. So this is what fascinates me about this place. Okay, we were looking at the times here, and Justin ran right at 167 miles an hour. Okay, he's slowed down at the end of practice to about 153, 54 if you looked at those last few laps. First year they raced here, the pole was 82 miles an hour. Okay, they are doubling the speed of what this place was designed for. This was the first super speedway. You know what I mean? When you say this was NASCAR's first, my granddad talked about coming here and having guys never get up on the bank because they were afraid of the bank. They just rode on the flat the whole race.
Wow.
They ran the whole first race on the flat. So you look at it and you think, man, that's what this place was designed for. A 1950 Chevy, a 1950 Plymouth, an Oldsmobile. And these guys are going out and doubling that in the equipment that we have today, which is a tribute to the drivers. It's amazing that the drivers can get the cars around here, but it's amazing that this design and this racetrack is held up, and that's why there's so much history. That's why there's so much respect for this place.
And the traditional Labor Day weekend. Today, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Tomorrow, the Southern 500 for the Cup Series. 200 miles today, 500 miles tomorrow. And there are going to be a lot of fans here just celebrating having a little bit of Monday off, but also the way that they love racing here at Darlington.
See, this is one lap speed. Justin Allgaier, we saw him. Noah Gragson, Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed has good long run speed as well. Maybe the fastest car here. J.J. Yaley, Joe Graff Jr., all with good laps.
Jeff was talking about Creed. He was looking at a 5-lap average. Sheldon was fastest in that regard. There's Riley Herbst giving us the Darlington stripe. A few moments ago, he was 15th in his fastest lap, took 21 laps overall. And the rest of the field, there are 39 in the entry list today, and one of them will not make the race.
Saw Stephen Parsons, that 45 car, ran a late model race this week. North Wilkesboro had a good run.
Let's head down to pit lane and Kim Kuhn.
And Noah Gragson finishes that practice second on the board. How did the car feel? What do you have for qualifying?
I'm happy with it because I got this. Got that.
A little kiss, right?
Yeah, no, it is just like barely a little kiss. We're really happy with that. So just getting comfortable. The track's kind of green to start practice. I got held up on my fast lap. I thought we could have been faster, but all the, Justin Allgaier in first, and we're second. The JRM cars are fast this weekend, and really excited to qualify this Bass Pro Shop True Timber Camaro. This is one of my favorite tracks, and I wanted to get it moved up on the wall in turn 3 and practice there, and I was just trying stuff there at the end, but I feel like we're really good. They weren't saying anything to me on the radio, so I was like, are we even good or no? And they're like, yeah, you're really good. So I'm happy with it. Thanks to all the team at Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Engine Shop, and
the handlebar.
This looks pretty good, baby. This looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. You said this is one of your favorite tracks, and it certainly shows you've never finished outside the top 10 in all of your Xfinity Series starts. What about this track maybe suits your driving style than others?
Well, in 2019, we first came here and we sucked. I think we ran 8th and just struggled. But as the years have gone on, I've gained experience. Josh Wise, thank you. He's helped me a lot just about this place. And I just love how worn out it is. I run a lot different line through 1 and 2 than I feel like most of the guys do, and it just suits my driving style. Ever since they repaved turn 2, we've gotten really good here. So just super thankful for the opportunity. Everyone's working hard. We got a lot of great tracks coming up in the near future and on into the playoffs for this team. So I think we're going to hit a stride pretty good here soon.
Show off that mustache one more time. There you have it, guys. Never a dull moment with Noah Gragson. Fast here in practice in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington.
Never a truer statement, Kim. And by the way, interesting how he took us full circle from Jeff Burton talking about that patch in turn 2 and how it changes things to Gragson saying, I love it. Got some speed out there, got some grip.
That's part of his success. When you roll through this tunnel, if you don't love this racetrack, it's
That's true.
Really difficult to be successful here. It's such a challenge and so different than any other racetrack.
And that is true, because you had success here and you enjoyed coming here. I never did. I never had success, and I didn't really enjoy coming here. So you had to pump yourself up for it. And if you're having to pump yourself up, you're already behind. You're already behind when you're at this level and you're having to get yourself excited for it.
Not sure the severity of this situation here. Christopher Bell's number 18, we are being told, will not qualify. There is an engine issue. They haven't said whether or not they have to change it, but he's not going to get a chance to qualify this car. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, he would have been able to keep his qualifying spot because he was the qualifying driver, even though he was a late add on the entry list. A couple of other cars saying the same, but for different reasons. Chad Fincham, we saw him hit the wall in practice, and the 23 of Anthony Alfredo also with body damage and will not be qualifying the car as well.
Yeah, 13 car of Fincham, he's got actually an upper control arm bent. So that's the difference, Kyle. There's a Darlington stripe and there's a Darlington hit. A Darlington stripe, you just move on, especially with these bodies.
Yes.
Very tough, very resilient. They don't get into the tire. They're a different. They're not metal, so it doesn't cause tire rubs like the old ones. But if you hit it hard enough, Kyle Petty says that's a Darlington hit. That's not a Darlington stripe.
I loved when they first came with this body on these cars, and all the Cup drivers and all the Cup crews stood on top of the trucks and said, we can't wait for those bodies. We can't wait for that stuff, because they were still running steel bodies and the Cup Series at that time, and they saw how durable they were. They saw how you could get up next to the wall, didn't create a tire rub, didn't create an issue. Bent upper control arms, bent trailing arms, bent rear end housings. That's an issue, okay? That's an issue in any kind of car. But it's crazy how these bodies and how these cars have changed this sport.
So glad you could join us on the NBC Sports app today for practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series in preparation for the race later today on USA Network. There is this little 10-minute break that the teams have before they go qualifying for single-lap qualifying. And in the middle of that, we can also talk to drivers, which is a great thing for us, Kim.
That's right. We're catching up with Ty Gibbs. 6 on the board during that practice. I know you were looking for more. What were you battling out there in terms of what the race car was giving you?
Yeah, I feel like we have a fast Shriners Children's Toyota Supra. We're just making some adjustments to just get a little bit faster, and I think we're right there.
In terms of lines, what were you seeing out there, and how might that change as the track continues to get hotter under the South Carolina sun?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like with this track, it's such low grip. Just gotta make sure your car. You're gonna have to make sacrifices in some different positions. Gonna be a little bit tighter, you're gonna be a little bit free. So this is just an ill-handling car and track. That's just a part of it, and that's what makes them a driver's track, I feel like. So, and the other thing, just kind of waking up. I'm using some Monster Energy to wake up a little bit too.
I love it. When we talk about Darlington, it's always said you have to race the racetrack, not the competition. For you, what does that mean, and how do you do it?
Yeah, for sure. I think just making sure that you're driving what your car can handle and you're not overdriving it, because that's going to pay off in the long run. You're going to be hurting in the long run. So making sure you're not overdriving the car, you're just driving it under a little bit, making sure your longevity is going to be there at the end, and I think that's what wins races.
And finally, you've become quite the regular on the Cup Series side, filling in for Kurt Busch at a track as tough as Darlington. How much does the extra seat time help, despite how different the cars are?
Yeah, I think it helps to a certain point, but I feel like the Cup car is just so different nowadays that it's not, going to help me tremendously. But I'm thankful for the opportunity. We're praying that Kurt gets better, and we're hoping we're seeing it back here, and this is his car, and he deserves all of it. So, and they ran really good in the spring, so I got the pressure on me.
And then you mentioned the paint scheme on the Xfinity side, Shriners Children's. How special is that to have it on the car this weekend?
Yeah, really cool. It's really cool to have Shriners Children's on their car and what they've done over the last 100 years. So I'm very thankful for that. And this is Shriners race, so cool to see their logo on the wall on the track, and I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for the whole situation.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That is Ty Gibbs. He's gonna see what he can do out here in qualifying shortly on the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
And Kim, thank you for that. We saw where he had a chance to hang out at Shriners Children's earlier this week, and there's going to be a lot of kids cheering for that 54 in what I think is a great looking car. I love that color and just love the way it pops here on the racetrack. What else pops is our schedule here on a gorgeous Labor Day weekend Saturday. You will see the NASCAR Cup Series following us. That'll be at noon. Practice and qualifying. We'll start on the app, and then at 12:30 we'll head over to USA Network, so make sure you queue up both your laptop and your DVR. And then countdown to green at 2:30 on USA for the Xfinity Series. We'll go racing, and then, of course, we'll have a post-race show. And then I hope I hope it keeps getting like it was this week. Race for the championship. I love what I saw this week. The opening salvo, if you will, of the series that is being produced and shown on USA Network. Just a great look into the inside of the sport as the Cup Series heads into the playoffs, Jeff. It was fun, and I know they're going to keep being good. Yeah, I love the fact that they, the drivers and the teams allowed the cameras behind closed doors.
Yes.
And really didn't hold back. So many times, when you're trying to get that inside look, you don't get that access. And this one's real, and it's raw, and it's fun. I think the more the fans see of that, the more they can recognize the amount of pressure, the amount of work, the amount of dedication, the compromises that have to be made. I think that only makes the sport that much more special, Kyle.
For sure, man. For sure. Because it makes the drivers relatable. It makes, no matter what your business is, when you feel that pressure, you see the pressure on these drivers' faces, you see the conversations they have. It's like anybody in any job. They have those same type conversations with their workmates and the people that they work with on a daily basis. So it's a cool program to watch. Listen, I'm glad they didn't follow me. I'm glad that stuff wasn't around when I was around, man. I wouldn't have had a sponsor.
It's a petty household.
I would have never had a sponsor, dude.
One of my favorite parts was Kyle Larson waking up in the morning and kidding his son Owen about the bedhead. It's fun stuff around the breakfast table and at the track, too. I think what we should do, we should get the King to pull out the old home movies.
And
we could do a whole Kyle Petty episode. That's what we should do. Kim, what do you think of that? Should we get some old Kyle Petty footage and show that as well?
Absolutely. Any Kyle Petty footage, whether it's old or
good
new,
point.
would be good. Sitting down here with A.J. Allmendinger, though, a little frustrated. Why and what do you need help with? Is it the cars, the track, is it the driver?
Yes. Yeah.
All of the above?
All of the above. No, it's just a tough racetrack, especially going after the practice because you're so afraid, at least I am, of fencing the car. You need to get up against the wall in both corners to kind of see what it's got. Then we just didn't have the speed and didn't really know what I needed. Thought we made the second run we made was okay. But yeah, this is a racetrack that I just still always trying to figure out what I need to be better. And at the end of the day, I probably frustrate myself in my own head about it.
Sounds like A.J. Allmendinger is looking for more in a lot of areas here this weekend at Darlington.
The Dinger, for his part, will roll out later in qualifying. He will be the final qualifier of 39 here this afternoon. Brennan Poole is first and will set the early standard. Poole driving for Mike Harmon and did quite well in both of his Xfinity Series starts here back in 16 and 17. Top 10s in both, Jeff. Pretty interesting here how they come to the green. They leave pit road kind of backwards, and they take a left, and they get on the racetrack. And you got to get going. You got to come down the back stretch and get up to pace right now. He just left a back straightaway off of turn 2, and now he's coming to get the green. The order, by the way, is set by the NASCAR rule book, and so you see Kyle Larson following Brennan Poole out, and he is in the green by a good margin. This is when I would want to go out. I think this is optimum qualifying position for Kyle Larson to go out second. Track set for 20 minutes. It's only going to get hotter. This is, if they don't qualify well and sit on the pole, it's not because they got a bad draw. This is the draw I would have wanted. And there is the standard set for the rest of the field. Kyle Larson crossing the line in a 29.98, just a skosh under 30 seconds. And that translates to over 163, almost 164 miles per hour average. Tommy Joe Martin's team owner, not of this car, but of 2 in the race this afternoon, will drive this car, the 5, for... Well, now I'm going to confuse myself because some days it's Johnny Davis Motorsports. Sometimes it's B.J. McLeod. And we're going to have to... I feel so much better about myself right now because I get confused all the time. I love the paint scheme. Reminds me of the Jeff Bodine All-Star.
Yeah. All-Star.
The Kendrick paint scheme.
This is pretty cool watching these guys qualifying because you just got to run up through the gears. It's kind of like when we used to, like Sonoma qualifying, where you came out on the back stretch and come back and catch it. I don't know of another oval that they do this on. Honestly, this is you got to get that car up to speed, and these cars are momentum cars too. So it's interesting because you don't get that full lap to get that car up to speed.
And not only get it up to speed, Kyle, but to fill the car out.
Yeah.
Like almost every other racetrack, you leave the front straightaway and you get enough speed, you're rolling through 3 and 4, and you're like, okay, my car is too tight, my car is too loose. But here, like, you have no idea what you've got when you drive into turn 1.
B.J. McLeod and his wife own the 5 car. I just thought I'd clear that up.
Thank you very much.
I believe they own this one too, the traditional 78 that we've seen McLeod campaign over time. This weekend driven by Brandon Brown.
BJ McLeod does such a great job. Fields cars in the Xfinity Series, of course, has his Cup car. Has a very positive impact on the sport.
I saw a photo of him and his family at the premiere the other night. And it was so cool, man, to see him with his entire family. He loves this sport. He loves motorsports, period.
So Brown, stepping out of his 68 car that he owns and driving 4 other folks from time to time, lays down the 3rd fastest lap.
It'd be interesting to see. Justin Allgaier in practice ran a 29.63. Kyle Larson in Q ran a 29.98. So was that because Larson had a bad lap, or was that because the racetrack was that much better when practice started? We don't know. And by the way, they don't either. Now, Larson's car did not look that good to me. It looked like it was moving around a lot for a Q lap, but we don't really know. Stephen Parsons, we talked about him earlier. He ran that late model race, got a good lap going right here, only a couple tenths off. Had a good run there, racing North Wilkesboro. It's cool to see cars at North Wilkesboro.
It was cool to see all that stuff. It's cool to see fans in the stands at North Wilkesboro. That's what was as cool as anything, too, was to see that place packed again.
That's a good lap. Good job.
Yes.
Nice throwback scheme on Parsons' car as well. And you'll see him here this weekend. This used to be the throwback weekend traditional. Now that is in the spring. But a few of the teams take the opportunity to take advantage of Darlington and its history. And you heard Noah Gregson talk about how he loves this place. It's old and worn out. Well, teams are still bringing back throwback paint schemes when they want to. And you'll see a few of them out here today in the Xfinity Series.
I'm going to ask you a driver question, Jeff. Used to, and you talk about, what Justin Allgaier ran and then the lap that Larson ran. And is it the racetrack? Is it the tires? Is it the heat of the day? What is it? As a driver, when you know you've run a fast lap and then you see the racetrack change, does that begin to mess with your head? I know used to you'd qualify and you'd see somebody go out and they were the fastest in practice and they'd be, 6/10 slower, and it's like, well, did he mess up? Or is it the racetrack? What's that going to do to me? How is it going to affect me? Does that get in your head somehow?
It did me. Yeah. I mean, just because you know that you're going to have to adjust.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to figure out what your car needs. And if the track is that much slower, what do I have to do different? Yes. Now, listen, I was really bad at qualifying, so a lot bothered me.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. But it did. It played with your head a little bit.
100%.
You saw 20-year-old Dawson Cram put the 35 on track. His second Xfinity Series start this afternoon if he makes the show, which we believe that he will. This is Cup Series veteran Ross Chastain.
Chastain's car looks really set and secure. It's not moving around a lot. That was my concern with Larson's lap. It just didn't look stable. It looked like the back of the car was not set. You see Chastain with that grip taking advantage of it.
Ross will bring it to the line. Oh, he lost a lot coming off of 3 and 4 there.
And he ran the bottom, which I don't think is wrong at all, but he ran the bottom and it just didn't work on corner exit. He couldn't carry speed like he thought he was going to be able to.
Interesting. Kim?
Down here with Riley Herbst as he looks on his team doing a little repair. Got a Darlington stripe or a Darlington kiss, however you want to look at it. How did you feel like the car was, though, in practice?
Yeah, we waited a little bit because the track was so green. And so the kind of speed chart, the one-lap speed wasn't really there. But, man, it's really, really fast, Monster Energy Ford Mustang. So I'm excited. I got a little bit too greedy into 3 and kind of just tagged the wall a little bit, but the Stuart Haas Racing guys are working hard, and putting some new Monster Energy graphics on it, and so we should be good to go for qualifying.
Fast is loose, and loose is fast. Here, though, it's a little more precarious because of the wall. What is that line in terms of, you mentioned being greedy. How much can you toe that line of needing to be loose to be fast, but not letting go and hitting the wall?
Yeah, well, I kind of think I found it, or I stepped over it a little bit. So now we can take a step back and see where my entry points were, see my inputs on the wheel and the brake pedal and the gas pedal, and kind of learn from there. But like overall, I mean, we finished third here in the spring, so we should have a really fast car today.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Riley Herbst's going to make his qualifying run. And, guys, I did want to update you on the 18 of Christopher Bell. Checked in with the team as they're doing that engine change. Will not be able to qualify that Toyota. They said the car over-revved. They could not confirm whether or not it was a driver error, although they did mention you never know with the sequential shifting on the Cup side versus the H pattern on the Xfinity side. So couldn't confirm it was a driver error, but they wanted to make sure playing it safe, changing that engine because of the over-rev.
I clearly, we don't know what happened, but that is a real consideration.
Yeah,
That just the shifting is different in both cars, and yeah, you could think you're going from, it just shifted the wrong way and over-rev it. We've seen it multiple times.
It happened to Tyler Reddick at Nashville in practice or qualifying.
So Kyle, back to Riley Herbst getting the wall. I say so what? Like I mean, no harm, no damage. Like so what? It's got some scrapes on it. Like if you're doing it right, you're going to hit the wall. Like you're going to get into the fence. And I don't think Riley should feel bad about that.
No,
I think
he
should embrace it and just like right here. That's what you're going to have to do in the race. And if he was racing, they wouldn't have slowed down.
No.
He'd have stood in the gas and just kept on racing.
They wouldn't have come in and put a new decal on it if he was racing. But you know what? You like that because he's pressing. Yes. Pressing. He's trying to run faster. He's not just content with the lap that he ran before. He's trying to get better. He's trying to find that boundaries. And that's the whole deal with this series, with the Xfinity series, with these young drivers. Find your boundaries. Find how far you can press. Learn how to race. Learn how to be competitive. And then when the opportunity comes to move to the Cup Series, then you're prepared for it because you got to hit the ground running in the Cup Series. It's not a learning series. It's a series you have to race. So this is where you learn. And listen, no harm, no foul. When you step over, if you tear this thing all to pieces, I still say in this series, no harm, no foul, because that's what I expect you to do when I put you in a car in the Xfinity series.
And on top of that, you're going to have the best in the world do it.
Yep.
In the next practice, in Cup practice, I'd be surprised if we don't see somebody get in the wall. And I can guarantee you in the race, we're going to see people get in the wall.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Mason Massey on track now. You saw David Starr do a good qualifying lap in the 08 car. And that little pause there, that's just an internal break that NASCAR takes during these qualifying sessions. Let's see what Massey can do here. Larson's time remains the fastest. We didn't think it looked completely settled in the track, so it may be vulnerable. Massey's not able to quite get there.
What a fun time for young drivers trying to learn and earn their way. Just when you roll through the gates here, it's just so much, just so special.
Yeah.
And a guy like John Hunter, he's his 26 car, he's wanting to prove to the world that he can win races and get himself back to the Cup Series. So you know he's going to be on full attack.
That's right. He's in the Truck Series full time this year. He's in the playoffs. They race next week at the Kansas Speedway. So John Hunter trying to take home the big prize there. Meanwhile, a partial schedule here in the Xfinity Series this weekend again for Sam Hunt Racing.
You see his approach to 3 and 4. Drove to the bottom, then went to the wall, and it's never going to go back to the bottom. He just ran the wall on corner exit. There's a lot of different ways to qualify here.
A lot of different ways to get around this track. And that's the deal. That's what all these drivers show. And you can watch 6 guys win the race, and they'll run 6 different groups, six different places, because they find their own comfort zone and find where they're comfortable racing.
One of the best rookies on the circuit this year. He leads by a bunch, Kim, is Austin Hill.
That's right, Dave. And Austin, Jeff Burton in the booth was saying there's so many different ways to qualify here at Darlington. So for you, how do you attack the racetrack here during your lap?
Well, I mean, the last thing you want to do is feel like you can make a lot of time running the wall, but there's areas where if you drive in too deep and you get in the fence, then your lap's over. So I don't know. We're going to see here. Obviously, we didn't qualify earlier in the spring, so I don't really know what to expect. I don't want to mess the car up or anything. I feel like we have a pretty fast Bennett Chevy Camaro for the race today. Seemed like we had pretty decent long run speed, so we're just going to take it what it can give us. I think that middle lane is probably a good lane to start with, and wherever the car goes from there, whether it's, I drive in a little deep and need to slide up, then I have some room to work with. But I don't know. We'll see here. I don't know what to expect, really.
We'll have to all wait and see what Austin Hill's able to do for qualifying. Dave, you mentioned that rookie stripe. Despite the rookie stripe, a multi-time winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for 2022.
Showing like a veteran, Kim, that is for sure. Austin Hill, we'll see him coming up in just a bit. This is a driver that needs a good run this weekend. One of the drivers that is trying to make the playoffs. He's not in the greatest position right now. He is on the bubble. Just 43 points to the good.
Pretty good lap. We said when he went out and ran that lap, look at this board. Stephen Parsons in third, beat John Hunter Nemechek. Good car. It's a really good lap by Stephen. And then it was interesting, Austin Hill talking about the dilemma of Darlington. Like, I think there's some speed, but if I don't execute it right, I'm going to damage my car. And yeah, welcome to Darlington. That's how it is.
We mentioned that bubble playoffs-wise. This is the driver just below it, Sheldon Creed. Boy, he has been on a tear lately after struggling early in the season. He's now pushing toward the playoffs and has been quite good here in what is going to be now a Craftsman truck in the past.
Can he keep that speed off of 4? Looks like it.
Wow.
Good lap.
Best lap so far, Sheldon Creed to the top.
91 right there. Good job.
It's one of the reasons I love this sport so much. I text Christopher Bell, hey man, you have a shifting issue, and said, yep, went from third to second. That's just the difference in, leaving that Cup car, being in that thing all day and all year, and how they shift, and then going to this car, and it's expected. I mean, it's going to happen. It's just they're so radically different.
In the Cup car, it's forward and backwards. In this Xfinity car, it's an H pattern, and you have to make that turn when you shift from third to fourth, right?
That's right.
Good to see Ty Dillon back in the Xfinity Series. He'll be driving for Our Motorsports in the 02 today, and that'll get him the show 7th.
Ty's working hard to just drive as many race cars as he can. You see him just doing as much as he can.
And that's what you have to do. He's leaving, Petty GMS. They've already announced that. And when you're in between rides, you jump in everything you can because you don't know where you'll land. Somewhere you'll stop, whether it's the Truck Series, whether it's Xfinity, whether it's another Cup ride. You hope someone sees that and gives you another opportunity.
Texan Bailey Curry in the 4 car for Johnny Davis Motorsports. Nice slide off of turn 2 with the high V colors on again this weekend.
There is no such thing as a nice slide at Darlington. Okay, you want to be going forward. You don't want to be sliding. Yeah, and that's it, because you're losing time. Anytime you're in a drift, anytime anything's sliding, you're losing time.
He had a good 3 and 4. He just ran the bottom all the way through there, and had good speed through there.
Good lap.
Displaces Ty Dillon's lap by just a bit. Again, the track is still green, but just a break here for NASCAR to make sure things are set and ready to go for the next group of cars. And scheduled to qualify next will be Ryan Ellis, the second Alpha Prime racing car to take to the track today. Stephen Parsons currently in 4th in the 45.
These are those breaks you really like if qualifying is at 5 or 6 in the evening, because it gets later and later for the late cars.
Yeah.
When you're a late car here and you're approaching high noon, these are breaks you hate. It's dragging right now because you want to get out on the racetrack before it gets more sun on it.
Track is heating up. Competition will be later today. Don't forget, 2:30 on USA Network. Our Countdown to Green show will start, and then the racing will commence after that. Following us immediately on the NBC Sports app will be Cup Series practice and qualifying. So a lot going on here this weekend. There's a Cup cars getting ready to go. A lot of news this week, guys, including a win that happened at Daytona that became a little bit of a dramatic story. First dramatic thing was Jeremy Clements taking the 51 car to the win. He was ahead, came to the checkers, and everything looked awesome until NASCAR took the car back to R&D on Tuesday, Kim, and it kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, it went a little sour, and Jeremy was watching that replay of victory lane at Daytona. How would you describe kind of the highs and lows of this week for you, and how do you reset so you're able to focus for Darlington this weekend?
Yeah, we started off with the highest high, winning Daytona. That was phenomenal. And then with what happened Tuesday, that really was a major setback for us. But we're going to fight it, and hopefully the appeal goes our way. But I'm not worried about that today. We're here for the Boost Pop Chevy. About to see if she's as fast as Xfinity Internet. I love this track. We had a top 5 going the last lap and collided with the 18, unfortunately, here. And you never know what kind of strategy you can play here, have fresh tires or stay out. So really looking forward to the challenge, and love this track, and ready to get after it.
And you're from South Carolina. What's that like to be from the state where there's such good racing history at a track like Darlington?
Yeah, it's our home track. This place has been around as long as I can remember. It was my first track my grandpa Crawford took me to when I was a kid. So I remember sitting in the grandstands right back there watching, and just to even be here and race is an honor. So I love it. I want to win here bad. This is the next track I really want. So we're going to give it all we got. We're excited to be here. Got a fast Boost Pop Chevy.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Jeremy Clements, you can tell how special this track is to him.
Oh, you know it, Kim. The intake manifold, by the way, was found to be out of spec by NASCAR, so they issued penalties to Clements. He was allowed to keep the win, but it won't count for the playoffs. And the team, as he said, they're fighting it. They are appealing the penalty. We'll see how that plays as time goes on. Ryan Ellis has a nice little throwback paint scheme here.
That guy won a few races, Jeff Gordon, around this racetrack.
One or
Or
two.
else, for that matter.
Yeah. Just about. That car knew its way around, seemed to know its way around every racetrack we went to.
It looks so good.
I'm tired of looking at that view right there.
That's right.
The back end of it, yeah.
It does look good. You know, sometimes they come down here and copy cars, and you think, man, they were so close. That one is phenomenally close. It looks great on the camera.
There's Josh Williams coming to the green. Again, cars are getting one lap. They roll off from the backstretch. They have to do something difficult, which Jeff says is pretty tough to do. Come up to speed, take the green, and then keep it in check for one fast lap of qualifying here to make the field. Kim is standing by with the driver who was fastest in practice.
Yeah, he said fastest. He had one good lap, he told me, but he was looking at the board, how close it was. So what do you need for this qualifying to put it on the pole?
Another one good lap. You know, I think the biggest thing for us, our Hellman's Camaro is really, really good on the short run. We felt like we struggled a little bit on the long run right there. So we made some adjustments after that practice session. I hope we went in the right direction. I think we'll probably hurt it a little bit for our short run speed, but you know, this is a long, short race. You know, it seems like this race, even though it's a shorter in distance, you know, 1 or 2 laps, you know, just makes a big difference. So for us, it's going to be about just getting as much grip as we can, making as good a lap as we can, and then hopefully going from there. But I do want to say our thoughts and prayers are with the Hoffman family. My buddy Nick and his dad Daryl and Mason, they got in a pretty bad accident this week, traveling in the Midwest to go do some dirt racing. And so our thoughts and prayers are with their family. I know it's been a tough time, and we're going to hopefully go win this thing for them this afternoon.
We hope to see Justin celebrate in victory lane for Offer and his family. But you heard Justin, we've been talking, guys, about how short this race is. Well, it's not that short if you have a car that doesn't do what you want.
Well, good point. By the way, you saw Kyle Weatherman qualify in the throwback paint scheme for Wendell Scott. That's Jesse Awuji's car, so good to see that painted up nice for Darlington weekend. And this is Chris Wright in the Brandon-Built Motorsports, number 68.
He's never run an Xfinity car here. He's run some truck races.
Yeah.
Saw him following earlier today. I think that was Noah Gregson he was behind.
Yeah.
You know, getting some cues and clues on putting the Xfinity car in the right place at Darlington.
And that's how you learn at places. When you go to a racetrack and you don't have that experience in that car or that experience on that racetrack, it's fall in line and follow somebody. Just see what they do. Even if they drive away from you, you get to see what they did going in turn 3, what they did coming out of turn 4, how they entered a corner, and that's a huge plus.
Sam Mayer, young race car driver, finished 5th here in May. Keep waiting for this driver to break through. It just seems like every time he has something good happen, 2 or 3 bad things happen, and they just can't seem to find their way through a race without having some kind of issue. I think the young man's got a lot of talent, just gotta find a way to connect all the dots to get to the finish line.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you watch and you know once he breaks through that, it's just going to come. There'll be a flood. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing.
Had a good lap going, trying to get in the throttle, leaving turn 4, back in the car. Had to start chasing it around. Lost all his speed just on the exit.
Sam's 3 junior motorsports teammates all have wins on the season. He'd like to get his career first, lock himself into the playoffs that way. With 2 more races to go, just a reminder, even though the playoffs start for the Cup Series this weekend, there are Kansas and the Bristol cutoff race remaining for this group to set the field of 12.
Nicky Jebb making his 100th Xfinity start this weekend.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Here's another guy. So many times I look at his Xfinity career, he should have won 20 races. You know what I mean? Just can't. Something happen. Somebody wreck in front of him. Somebody take him out. Not always of his making, man, but a good, solid driver who can win races in anything.
Yeah, he had a really good exit in turn 4. Didn't get through 1 and 2 great, but the exit 4 was really good.
Moved over to Our Motorsports this year, left this team, and in fact this car, Colleague Motorsports number 10 this year, driven by Landon Castle.
I just started connecting the dots. If he's got 100 Xfinity starts, that means that Ward's getting old.
You call him and tell him.
I think he knows.
Up and yep, missed the entrance there to the pits. No harm, no foul, we believe. They won't be pitting there this afternoon. That'll be on the front stretch for the race, but just to keep things moving.
Look at this. He ran that wall. He ran the wall.
Yeah.
Nice lap by Castle. That'll put him 3rd.
Yeah, it looks smooth too, up next to the wall. I mean, it's like he just got back to the gas and it just stuck and stayed.
This is Brandon Jones, one of the Joe Gibbs Racing cars, on track this weekend and on track again for a strong playoff run.
Drove it into 1 really hard. Was able to go back to the, a little bit of wiggle right there through that bump. Not sure he had to come out of the gas though, Kyle.
Yeah. If he did, it was very, very little, man. Picks up a little bit going into turn 3. This is where everybody has lost time. He seems to be gaining right here.
He is making time.
Wow.
Good lap.
Very well done, Brandon Jones, to the top.
Wow. It's almost 2 tenths.
Yeah, Sheldon Creed's like, what? 2 tenths?
2 tenths, almost 2 tenths right there.
Where did he get that?
That is a ton here.
Here is J.J. Yaley. See what the veteran can do.
He was 10th fastest in practice.
Hey, it's like Allgaier said, right? 1 good lap. That's all you need.
Well,
that's all he needs right here.
Yeah, he's 3 tenths off of Jones, but we just saw he beat Creed by 2 tenths. So if Yaley can have a good 3 and 4 here,
takes it off the corner, not going the right way. Gave up a little bit. And that is going to put him 13th. So Brandon Jones had an awesome qualifying lap. Jeff, it wasn't without a little concern.
Yeah, just right there.
Yeah.
See, it started to get loose, and there's some bumps right there, but he was able to stay committed.
That happened at the 162 mile per hour mark.
Yeah. Oh.
And his average was 165.4. Just beat out Sheldon Creed, Kim.
Yeah, and Sheldon was watching that lap by Brandon Jones on our monitor. So after seeing Brandon's lap, anything you could have done differently, you think, on your qualifying run?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can go back and say you could have done better. I thought from my practice balance, I thought my 1 and 2 was going to be a little different, but I was a little free up the hill there. And you're just trying to drive it as fast as you can to the patch, because you know the patch is going to catch you. And then overdrove 3 a little bit and got a little tight there, but overall a pretty good lap for us. We've struggled in qualifying this year, so yeah, to run that lap I was happy with, and just happy with the way things are going the last couple of weeks. I think we're bringing faster race cars to the track. I think we're starting to click better, and I think I'm starting to do a better job in the simulator and be able to tell the guys what I want, and finally a track we're coming back to for the second time. So that's so nice being a rookie, but I just want to thank Wheel and Engineering for sticking behind us, everyone at RCR, ECR Motors, Trench Shoring, everyone that takes care of us, Chevrolet. Yeah, hopefully we can go and have ourselves a good day today.
And you're a 2-time winner in the Truck Series at Darlington. Different, obviously, than the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but does it give you any confidence when you come to Darlington knowing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this place, and Darlington's been really good to me. So, yeah, I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it just fits my style or what it is, but you'll see the red and white number 2 up on the fence today.
Sheldon Creed, I was talking to him before we go in on air, and I said, you must love this place, and a huge smile cracked across his face and said, this is probably my favorite racetrack.
Look at the highlights here, Kim. It was good last year, swept at Darlington. We'll see what he can do later today. Again, he's below the cutoff line right now for the playoffs, trying to work his way in.
It was a difficult transition for him from trucks to Xfinity in the first half of the year.
Half the year.
Yeah,
yes.
and then the light bulb went off.
Yeah.
And also crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz, they came together from trucks to Xfinity, and they had to learn how to give Sheldon the feel he was looking for, and was that feel even capable of happening.
Yes.
But now they figured it out, and they're running really well.
Once they called it, once they figured it out, once they figured out where they were at, they've been competitive everywhere they've been. And you heard him say right there, finally, a racetrack we're coming back to for the second time. And I think they feel like they can build on that from as far off as they were the first race and what they were looking for to where they're at now.
Let's see what Myatt Snyder can do against that very good lap put down by Brandon Jones just a few minutes ago. And Snyder will come in 12th, I believe. Yep. Been quite a bit better than his, over a 10th better than he practiced. So good for Myatt.
Yeah, he's run well here. Top 10s in 2 of the last 4 races at this track.
Good to see Ryan Vargas again behind the wheel of the 6 car. This weekend, Californian. He's doing so much to promote and work his way further in the sport. You'll see him on social. You'll see him at the shop. You'll see him doing tires if he's not behind the wheel. Trying to find his way in and keep his career going in the Xfinity Series.
Gotta love the work ethic.
Yeah.
That'll be 17th for Vargas.
All right, can Noah do it? We know he'll be trying, Kyle.
Yes.
The effort will be high.
Yeah, Noah's never not tried, man. He's never not thrown it all out. He throws it all out there every lap. Every lap. You know where he stands and what he's trying to do.
And you said there were 2 kinds of drivers that are successful here, Kyle, earlier?
Yes.
And he's the one that drives it hard and lives with whatever, right?
Yeah, lives with whatever and doesn't regret it. He has no regret. You know, he throws it all out there, and that's the way it is.
On the backstretch, clock working the right direction. See it on the lower right. Backs off, coming into the corner. Oh, back in the throttle. Burton, it's going to be close.
It's going to be really close.
Not quite, not by much. 4 100ths difference.
So Brandon Jones.
Yeah. Dodge one right there.
Yeah, there's more coming.
This is where it gets tough when you're sitting there on the pole and you have to watch all these good cars go out one after the other, one after the other.
Riley Herbst saw him in the wall earlier, and he's got to forget about that, right? You just got to go rip it and forget about that. And just stand on that throttle, drive it deep in the corner, stand back in the gas, and put it where it's supposed to be and let it rock.
Riley's having such a good season, has progressed so much this year. Put so many more things together as a driver than he had in previous seasons.
Just a little off there. Qualifies 5th, but a good example. We saw Noah Gragson up next to the wall, and the next car that goes out is down on the flat almost. You know, and it's just, again, it's what your preference is, where you think your car is making the most time, and where you feel the most comfortable when you qualify here.
Reigning series champion Daniel Hemrick on track now.
I feel like Daniel's pretty frustrated. Doesn't just won the championship last year, and this year has not gone well. They hadn't had the speed they need, hadn't had the finishes they need.
I would say comfortable, Jeff, in the playoff standings. Not a guarantee, but 76 points to the good with 3 races remaining.
Closer than they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point. That'll put Hemrick in 7th. And he'll line it up this afternoon with 37 others. See if he can get his first victory of the season. Only got one last year, but it was an important one. Final lap, final race.
Only got one his whole career, and it was an important one.
Yes, it
okay,
was.
so let's throw it out like that. That's better.
Oh, you want to make it bigger?
Yeah, your one win is the biggest win of everything you've ever done. Yeah, and that's fascinating that he reached down and pulled that off.
Here's Jeremy Clements in that Booze Pops Chevrolet. Yes, it is pretty much what you'd think it would be.
What?
Well, the ice cream man isn't exactly selling ice cream there, Kyle.
It's a good lap right here.
And last week's winner, Jeremy Clements, 10th. It was good.
So now we've got 5 cars: Barry, Allgaier, Hill, Gibbs, and Alden Allmendinger. You've got 5 heavy hitters that Brandon Jones has to dodge right here.
Oh. This is when you need a heart rate monitor on Jones. You know what I mean? We do it during the race sometimes, you know, when we would do it and you'd see what their heart rates were.
I'm trying to think. I don't think he's a pacer, Brandon Jones, but we'll see. This may put into that.
We talked about Stephen Parsons running the late model race in North Wilkesboro. Josh Dale Jr. ran it as well, if you guys didn't hear. And who's the crew chief for Dale Jr.?
Right here.
That guy right there, Josh Berry. Not only is he a really good race car driver, he knows those chassis very well, knows the things he needs to do to make his cars go fast.
That'll be 12th for Barry. And again, already a winner on the circuit this year, showing what he can do in the Xfinity Series. Here's his teammate, Justin Allgaier.
And this will answer your question about racetrack to some degree, on whether it was cool this morning when he went out and ran 156, almost 157, or 166, almost 167, to see where he ends up, where he thinks he is.
How'd you like that turn 2, Jeff?
It looked good, but it just wasn't quick enough. Already a 10th and a half off getting into turn 3. He said that they made some changes, and he was afraid it might have taken some short run speed off, but they felt like they needed to be better on the long run. So what Justin Allgaier is going to do now is he's going to get out and he's going to say, all right, didn't go as fast as we wanted, but that's how we wanted it, because we wanted to run fast on a long run. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's how you'll rationalize it in your head.
Kim spoke with the driver of this 21 earlier, Austin Hill. There's Brandon Jones, currently at the top of the board, nervously watching, or is he? Is he steely? Ice water in his veins?
Getting ready to have ice water in his veins. There we go. Now it's ice water in your veins.
Austin Hill said he wasn't sure what to expect for the 21 car. Not a bad lap, but 10th off. Just drifts it up there toward the turn 4 wall. Yeah, definitely not using all the track there. But a good lap.
Yes, it is. So these last 3 or 4 cars have all run about the same speed.
Yeah.
You know, when you really look at what they're doing out there, they're all just a little bit off in 1 and 2 and a little bit off in 3 and 4.
And if you're Brandon Jones, this is the car you really want to beat because he's your teammate. You don't want your teammate to take the pole away from you.
Ty Gibbs in the 54. Can he do it? What's it look like through the first 2 corners?
Not off to a good start.
I wonder if Jones came to the green really well, Jeff.
Yeah. And he
good question.
Got into turn 1. He's beating everybody in turn 1. Ty with a different approach to the top. Never even tried to run the bottom in 3 and 4.
All right, 1 more down for Jones. That will put Gibbs into the 5th spot for the moment.
But I will say this, the one thing that Ty's car just did and the one thing that Jones's car just did was make really good time from the center of 3 and 4 off and to the flag. They picked back up where most other cars have just maintained or lost a little bit.
And to me, Kyle, that's how you win races here.
Yeah.
Like 1 and 2 is cool and it's dramatic looking, but the exit of 4, if you can rock that, then you got a great shot.
And both of those cars look good there.
Final car to Dodge, the regular season championship leader, A.J. Allmendinger, down into 3. He's 2/10 off there, and the clock's not going the correct way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still pushing. He wasn't happy with his car. He said he wasn't happy, and you see it right there, over a half second off of Brandon Jones.
And that will put Allmendinger in 19th to start the race, so that'll be a bit of a task to begin with. Task for this driver, a bit easier as he will start on pole. Kim?
Yeah, and he had to watch half a dozen of his peers make their qualifying run. What was going through your head as you were watching those guys?
No doubt. I mean, first off, big shout out to Menards, Atlas, everyone that came on board for this race. We certainly have speed this weekend as fast as the Xfinity Internet is, and really looking forward to this race. We fired off in practice with a bunch of speed. Wasn't top of the charts, but really liked how our balance trended. I liked how our lap times trended. Talking to other people out here, they all felt like they were under gripped compared to the first race. I feel the other way around. I mean, I think we really brought a package here this weekend that's going to compete and be really, really fast. So I'm looking forward to the race. This is a phenomenal start, starting the front row. Not a lot of aero effects whenever we get going here. So all that stuff is going to be very key to having success here this afternoon.
What else will you have to execute perfectly in order to stay P1 throughout those 200 miles?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and I say this a lot, is it's just not going to be falling back too far. You know, I mean, you want to try to maintain that top 5 as much as you can. It just makes it that much difficult if you do, for some reason, end up about 10th on back. It just is that much harder to work your way up through traffic. So it's going to be trying to stay within that range. Today's race probably won't be that big on pit strategy. I know obviously place chews up tires pretty quick, so you know you probably end up pitting all the stages, and then you have a couple sets land for the end of the race.
And then 3 races until the playoffs kick off for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You are in that playoff grid. Things like this, winning a pole, these small incremental gains, how big is that as you look towards that championship run to start?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right, is trying to iron out those just really, really small things before we get there. Not many races left, but I feel like once we get there, I mean, there's some really good tracks on the schedule that we have a good chance at doing really well at. The first round is always that wild card, iffy one, you're right. You have Talladega, you have the Roval, but you get to that first round, there's some really fast tracks and really good stuff for us there in that second round. And then we always say get to Phoenix, and we've won there many times and have really good shots to win that race. So I feel good about our chances here, and this is a great momentum turnaround for us here.
Brandon Jones takes the pole here at Darlington. He's a former winner, took home the checkered flag in 2020.
And Kim, 5th pole of his career, comes at a good time. Talked about the momentum there. You see them there on row 1 with Noah Gragson.
Yeah, big day for Brandon Jones. Go down low. Every one of these guys, I think, has a shot today. They all had good cars in practice, had good long run speed. So this front 4 rows, Kyle, looks really good.
And you wonder how some of the veterans may have had their cars tuned to go racing versus just 1 lap speed there.
That's always the interesting part when you have this type of qualifying and then you go straight into the race. Is where are these guys? How many people will be moving forward? How many people will be moving back?
John Hunter Nemechek rode 9. I thought he had a good car in race trim. I think he'll be one of those guys that is moving forward.
Yes.
19 rows of 2 will start this afternoon. The only car that was sent home would be Chad Fincham. Had a practice crash, was unable to make a qualifying run. so he will not be starting today.
Christopher Bell will be starting in the back, and he will be the show. Put a camera on him.
Yep. Engine change in the 18, did not qualify, but he made the race. Let's talk about tomorrow, the Southern 500 here at Darlington. Huge day. You will not want to miss it. But we'll get started on NBC with the NTT IndyCar Series from Portland. 2 races remain in the IndyCar schedule, and the championship is tight. You'll want to keep an eye on that. And we'll get started here at 5 o'clock with Countdown to Green. Playoffs race, and then the NASCAR America post-race show, followed by Race for the Championship, all on USA. And don't forget, Stage 2, by the way, there will be a Petty and Earnhardt and a Jarrett in Stage 2, I'm told, KP.
Awesome.
Racing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Up here commentating.
Oh, commentate. Commentate. Yeah, I got you,
I'd
buddy.
pay to watch that.
Yeah.
All right, qualifying is done for the Xfinity Series. Let's talk about what you're going to see next here on our networks. It is going to be Cup Series practice and qualifying. Starts on the app, goes to USA. Don't forget to tune us in for the race here this afternoon, starting at 2:30 with Countdown to Green. Thanks to all of our colleagues here at NBC Sports. We'll see you later on this afternoon. Stay tuned next for Cup Series practice and qualifying.